while everyone.
Please don't. No.
The smell of ash, charcoal, smoke, and meat lingers well into the night, even as the cook off or communal cooking challenge between Ruff and his brand new, not really as good adversary, Stokes, comes into play. As Diana rose, she knew that afterwards, when they completed their mission, they would have a couple days still behind in order to clean up and prepare. Ruff was somebody who reluctantly decided to stick back. It was clear that the first thing he wanted to do was head out for adventure. But in a way, instead of being like a floodgate, this test to Xania was more of a freedom, an option, something she gained. She gained the ability to leave. She did want to go traveling, but for Ruff, it was more as if he had been waiting to go for a good majority of his life. Like trying to keep sheep in a pen versus rather to keep water in a bucket. When you open the gate, they're not necessarily going to walk out, but when you poke a hole in the bucket, it will drain. For Xania, it was like poking a really tiny hole instead of a big one. But if she wanted to travel with Ruff wanted to travel with her, something they both did specify they desired, they would have to find a middle ground. Well, that was not today's problem. They had food for the travels. Ruff would be cooking on the way, although he wouldn't be able to keep a good eye out. There wasn't really anything needed to keep a terrible close eye out. There was no expectation that Gale was going to do a whole lot. He would have probably helped with the heavy lifting and moving, which is good, especially considering the fact that Xenia can't really say her strength is one of her strengths. If he was able to carry a bunch of equipment, it would make climbing a lot easier. Then again, there wasn't a whole lot of equipment to carry. So we would have to simply expect on his help should we be encountered by a beast. No. Predatory beasts were not entirely common here.
But there's
The
that
goat
bird.
the goats traveled here in one part because we were their only predators. They could roam cliff face in relative peace. But that creature, the being known as the stork, Roxanne had defeated all those years ago, it still lingered in Xania's mind, or whether or not this hidden monster may have been uh, one of those long since hiding, abiding its time and growing bigger. People didn't travel up very often. It wasn't always a yearly thing that people graduated into adulthood. But at the same time, if they migrated like the goats did, who's to say that it was just uncommon that anyone would travel up there at this time? And that the Storku, the would be there as well. But not impossible.
I feel like her morning is very like having bursts of like energy of like she still is excited and then like just dropping off into like she hasn't seen the stars for a while. She's starting to get a bit depressed. So it's like bursts of energies of like, okay, we gotta do this. We gotta do this, and it's just ending up like extremely anxious about everything. She is wearing her special like cold armor that's like her favorite, and she probably definitely will have like a moment of just being like super careful with it and making sure it's all right and putting it on and wearing it and like just kind of like that's probably one of the high moments of her morning of just like feeling ready for a moment of just like, yeah, I've got this, it's gonna be safe, we're gonna get it.
As it is brushed on, you can feel the insulation hit. It's still not exactly fitted to Xenia. Not like showing, but like it just doesn't cover a little bit of stomach.
Still does its job though, right?
Mm-hmm. No, it
Fashionable.
still fits. It just doesn't. It still fits. It just hasn't been cleaned up to the point where it's as it always was. So there's a little
Okay.
bit around the stomach and a little bit around the ankles, kind of thing. Because the sweater is consisted of a sweater, kind of like an over, call it a vest like thing. It says it's a parka. I personally see it more as a vest. Sorry, poncho, not parka.
Does it look
And
good
then
on
it
me?
has a almost dress that moves down to the bottom.
Does it look good though?
Xenia
Is it
thinks it
like
looks
too
good.
small?
Xenia thinks it looks good.
Okay, good, perfect, awesome. Okay. This is like a big day. Maybe I should like do a performance check. Maybe should I like spend a? Do I have time? I mean, I shouldn't worry about my appearance right now. There's bigger threats. But like, what if my grandparents are there?
Theoretically, everyone's going to be there, or a lot of people are going to be there.
I'm gonna roll that. I'm gonna roll that performance check. I gotta roll that performance check. Xenia is not vain, but especially when like, yeah, it feels right. Fucking nothing's going right. Bedhead everywhere.
That anxiety that Xenia started with. It manifested into a jittery hand when getting dressed.
Mm.
Uh, to say that you were looking your best, hardly brushing your hair. Well, it's knotted. Well, that's fine. A quick little dose back. Yeah, it looks cute, pretty, but that's not really the thing that's on Xenia's mind terribly right now. In many ways, the things that immediately are brought to her is the fact that this will be a multiple day camping excursion with, well,
Do I have
mixed crowd.
everything? Sorry.
Um, I can interrupt that thought for can we have it? Do I have everything? Okay. I suppose so. I mean, you got a lot of stuff. Most of it was packed last night. That's a good sign.
Do I have time? Oh god.
Quickly, your heart spikes to what time is it?
What time is it?
Xenia can see the sunlight.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I have everything. Oh god, please, hopefully have everything. Perception check? No. I think yeah. One last. Yeah, one last perception check to make sure I don't leave anything behind because I'm gonna be probably rushing out the rushing. I don't even have perception. God, I'm a horrible wisdom person.
Rushing out of your room almost immediately, you catch sight of what you didn't expect, and which is across your felted fabric couch. Dr. Stokes seems to be completely passed out.
Eh,
And in the kitchen, putting together some food, is Ruff.
oh, I
Ruff,
didn't
the
even leave my
morning
room today.
was.
Okay, cool. That's what kind of day it was.
Ruff, it was primarily poor sleeping arrangements, but still slept well. And got getting up a couple times during the night. And at some point, decided to get up early in the morning simply just to start putting the food together. Not that Xianya tended to have a full stock of food to put together. For Xianya, it was primarily just to get into the day.
Uh, uh, Morning. Rai kind of smiled because she's still super nervous.
Hey, morning. We got a sunny day today. Must be a good
Uh,
sign.
hmm?
Must be a good sign.
It's not time to go yet.
I know. It's mid morning that the whole ceremony kicks off. We got time to fill our bellies and put any last minute requests together.
Hey, right. Oh, I think I've got everything. Um, she's gonna peek inside her bag. She's gonna just like not rifle through it fully, but just like open it up and see if she's like missing anything that she needs.
It looks like everything is there. Xenia's never really traveled any long distance with a considerable amount of stuff. So she's a little bit paranoid that like it might be a bit too much, might be slightly encumbering, but
Do you think this is
it
too much
looks like
stuff?
everything's there. Probably. We've never actually gone on a camping trip anywhere before. Can't really say whether or not we're exempting, over overexciting, sorry, our own forms of packing. We might be
Hmm.
bringing a little too much. It will give us a good idea of what we'll need to have when we're traveling, for what distances. And we definitely have more food than we need. But if we get stuck on the mountain, better we have full stomachs than empty ones. I think that if we have a little too many things, we can offload it onto Gale to carry.
Uh, I don't really think that's much of an option, really.
Well, he's rude, but if the only thing he's confident in is fighting, I'd rather offload any physical labor onto him.
Hmm.
Besides, it's we decided to go as a group. If Gale wants to go off on his own, it's his own funeral. It won't be that far to bury him. Just because we decided to travel together. And he's decided to stick with us, at least for now. Tells me he has a little more of a self-preservation tactic than he puts on. It is true. You don't have to travel up as a group. If you really wanted to, you could travel up on your own.
I
But
think
you would
it's
have to be confident.
better with more people. More fun. Although,
Aye, unsafer too. Not
she's
that
like,
we're really going to encounter anything. An angry goat or two.
well, the biggest threat we probably have is the predatory birds up there.
If we ever see any, it could always be a trick of the mind in the middle of the night.
Nature check. I'm gonna because I've never done a nature check for them before, but I know they exist. God damn it, that's int. God damn it, I'm not proficient in nature. I'm only proficient in survival. God, I'm a horrible druid.
Sounds like you're a ranger. No, Zenya's never really been up on the mountain, and if there was any sort of bird creatures up there,
But my notes told me there were.
yeah, but you've never seen them. There's precaution, and then there's like expectation. It would be best to pursue as if you're not really going to encounter anything. Because, I mean, it's probably just stuff stressing you out for no reason. Which tells me that the fail by 5 system's working.
That's really hard for me to do because like my anxiety was already so high. Yeah. They,
Well,
I
now
feel
there's
like
no
that's
reason to worry
copium,
about
so I'm
them.
gonna play it as copium because it sounds like copium. Uh, yeah, there's probably nothing to worry about. I mean, uh, yeah, I mean, it's not like it's gonna come across. It's not like we have to prepare for everything and every single possible outcome.
And a little bit of last minute anxiety, are we?
Uh, Sorry, I, I don't know. I just feel off right now.
That's fine. Getting cold feet's not much. We're getting closer to. I wouldn't be lying if I said I was a little anxious as well.
She definitely like gods. In some ways, she's like feeling anxious to like avoid feeling her own like despair and depression and just like a lot of her just because of the Starry Star thing, like I feel like a
Keep in
lot of
mind, you
her
are not a full Astari.
yeah, but I still have the depression that I don't know. Alright, calm down me. Meditation check. I mean, I've already rolled too many checks. I don't want to roll any more checks. I'm done with time myself out. All right.
Put some food in your stomach.
Right.
It's just a couple bits of meat strands, fat, some of the different dried goods you have lying around. Call it a quick medley. I'm sure when Stokes wakes up, he'll see himself out.
Stokes is breathing, right?
Stokes did the once in a lifetime thing, which is he pulled out his a special feel good elixir,
Oh, adult juice.
adult juice. Stokes doesn't hold like liquor very well. Ah. As Ruff walks over, pulls his hat off of the small cupboard box that is used to keep dried goods, puts it on. Thanks for letting me stay the night as well.
Um, no worries. Sorry things are still such a mess.
And we'll clean them up when we get back. Who knows, there might be some other stuff that can help us on a longer trip.
That's what I was thinking. I just. I don't know, it doesn't feel quite right to. I guess. I want to prove that I was able to do it by my own first. Before relying on my dad's old stuff.
There's just going to be a cleaning mission first, and then when we come back, you'll get to compare all your used equipment for memories to that of your parents. A
Uh,
little bit of an archaeology dig of your own.
uh, Xenia had because I wrote down like matching bracelets in Xenia's inventory. She has those, right? Because that's the one thing she needs to make sure she has.
She has her entire inventory.
Cool, awesome. Just yeah.
I mean, technically, you also have like your mother's clothing and a headpiece, your armor and some daggers,
I probably have like a
and
spare set of
another
clothes just
headpiece.
in case someone else gets cold.
You have another headpiece. Got the healer's kit, got a book, got some rations,
Cool, cool.
got a rope.
I know that Xenia is missing Taylor's supplies, but I'm gonna say she forgot them. She hasn't
Well,
made any active checks.
technically speaking, your tailoring supplies are like bench supplies. You got a tailoring station, not a tailoring kit.
Exactly. She doesn't have anything to actually tailor up on the mountain.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna
You
say
also
that she.
have a sleeping bag. You probably should have with you.
Hmm?
You have a sleeping bag that we got. Which
Alright, I never add that to
I
my
just stored
inventory.
into your inventory. I didn't add it to mine. I was just like, do you have yours and yours? Nope. One sleeping bag full of spiders.
Uh, from Crazy Spider Lady.
The ghost.
From Crazy Spider Ghost.
Oh boy, I have armor padding. That definitely wasn't a waste of money. Definitely not a waste of money at all. I will put on my light armor though.
Thanks, I think the food really did help.
Glad to hear it.
I'll make sure I leave out a glass of water for Dr. Stokes. Let's do this.
Hey. As both individuals set out towards the center town, they are greeted by a breeze from the north.
Xenia
Chilled.
absolutely probably closes her eyes and just feels it.
It's chilled by the night air, and it makes a small howl noise. The howl is normally caused by the arcing mountain. The ruffling of pine needles as some of them shed their way for new needles. The rustic browning of some trees long since unable to touch the ground. Taking step by step down the uneven path, occasionally brandishing a wooden plank. Make a half-made staircase, or simply just footing. Railings pegged into the ground, as underneath foot, old brown pine needles, broken acorn stones, and the small bitter release of grass. Each one of them a sign ever closer, moving further into Roxen Hollow. Roxen Hollow, bringing more green grass and moss along the ground, in between stones and dirt. The houses peeking their way outside a forested area. Smell of different meals being produced for a beginning. Others have already been produced, with laborers moving into town, rustic individuals ready for a grand ceremony. For of course, what better time for a grand ceremony than today? Today marked a new day. This would not go unmentioned. The first sign of in-town experience would have to be different banners flying. Tapestries made by tailors of long old, marking the occasion, crimson reds dialed with blues and browns. While there wasn't much of unity, this town did have a flagged pattern in order to bunch groups of people together. It was called the Coat. It was only ever flown during two occasions: coming of age and celebrating a hero.
I'm probably definitely like kind of. There's a lot of things which she really just is probably like kind of like, whoa, and like looking around, and she's not in a rush right now, so she's taking her time in some ways. Not intentionally taking her time, but like, oh wow, look at that, that looks cool.
I think that the arrival of like the Coat definitely has Ruff standing up a little straighter, kind of more in the lines of, ah, this is kind of almost a ceremony.
Yeah, Xenia's marveling. She's marveling at the scenery. I kind of wish we got here sooner to see the setup.
I think they set it up probably last night.
Right.
Didn't
I
you
don't
say
know.
you went to go?
Hmm?
Didn't you say you went to go see uh, Calibri the other day? Orchestra. One him and the missus setting up for the actual starting point, the bonfire and whatnot.
Hmm? Wait, what?
Didn't you go to see a Castor Calibri the other day? Him and his wife were setting up for the bonfire and whatnot.
Yeah, I did. Um, he was at the bar. They were about to put stalk the Brazers.
So the path's already been walked then.
There's no way that he didn't not do it, right? I know he slacks off, but I mean that's what I said last time that he wouldn't do that.
I don't know the man myself. Not much church business in my field. Although, it is true that you see him at the local pub.
I'm sure
I
things will be fine.
myself have seen him any number of times with Edgar's.
Even if the Brazers aren't stocked, we'll be able to find some wood probably.
Not when I get to the very top area. Looks like it's all stone up there. Might be a good idea to bring a small handful. Or maybe, in fact, that might be one of the challenges. The church building is one of those that we have to pass, as it is one of the only stone buildings in the entire town. It stands as a little bit of an eye catcher. Weeding through one of the quick and narrow points between its walls and its foundation opens up into a great field. One that doesn't have many trees in it, a long grass that has been since cut short in a huge circle where people are gathering. The ceremonial brazier, the one in which we will take upon ourselves a torch and light it there, is already burning in full.
Wait, what? Isn't that bad?
No.
Oh, yeah. We get the fire from there. Okay.
Yeah. Instead of its traditional beautiful crimson, red, and orange yellow flame, it's producing more of a yellow tinged golden esque flame as per normal. The sign of the very spoken of Acastor Calibri seems to be running some chants down, looking a little on a tad bit hungover. His wife, Marion, attending seatings and standing areas for those who have come to see everyone off. Already there is Gale, but Sarah is not here yet.
Is there anyone I see in the crowd that I recognize?
There's not much of a crowd yet. You know faces of people. You could list a couple names, but no one close to you as of yet.
Okay, so that's fine. I guess we can go to Gale. Yeah. It's not like I should avoid him or anything. He hasn't done anything bad yet.
No, it's just his destiny. We're also not allowed to talk with anyone
Oh, right. My bad.
because they might spoil. This is a ceremony, despite the fact that it kind of is loose. It is still a ceremony. And everyone does take that seriously.
Failed by 5. Performance check. Oh no. You should have told me I look bad.
Well, Ruff isn't. Ruff isn't style. Like Ruff didn't style. Like he just put on his coat, put on his hat, tied his beard up, and left. What do you mean? There's no reason to look good for all this. We're going on a thing. We're going on a hike. We don't need a beauty product ourselves.
But it's a ceremony.
Yeah, you know, the ceremony. This is authentic now.
I
Ruff
assume.
sees the ceremony a lot more in the lines of a means to an end rather than a super traditional esque thing. The
Yeah, kind of.
information that comes from it is good to know, and it's very important to know the ceremony aspect of it. But in Ruff's outlook, he likes knowing the ceremony. He likes knowing its purpose, how our culture works.
Yeah, but I don't. I. It's important, or something. My character doesn't agree with Ruff.
That's why we're facing different directions in our pictures.
So we get up to Gale.
Get up to Gale. I didn't walk in with Sarah, did ya? She's going to the washroom. Use it if you need to now.
Who uses the washroom? That doesn't exist.
It does. We fixed pooping a long time ago. Not a long time ago. We have fixed pooping. Pooping exists.
Oh my god, you said you never make that happen.
Um, yep.
My gosh,
Yes,
we have a washroom meter now.
I wanted to spread the plague a little bit more.
And yet you can't get gay people.
Nope. The plague's
Do I need
more
to use
important.
pee? Do I need to gotta go pee?
No. Xenia already did. We did before we left.
Cool, cool, cool. It's a background thing that we don't ever need to think about.
Until it becomes like prevalent and we're sitting on like a spaceship for 12 hours. Yeah.
Cool, cool.
It does look like Gale has prepared himself for more than just stabbing things. His bag is filled with a bunch of stuff, including what looks like some sort of sleeping bag or blanket or something rolled up on the back. Although, to say that he also is equipped with, well, probably the most expensive armor we actually have the potential of getting.
Did
Can
do
you
I
take
see
a
the
guess what
rope he was gonna buy yesterday?
Oh, he has rope, yep.
Cool. That means I can't ask him about that because it's obviously there.
Um, he, however, has padded armor,
Hmm.
which, to say the least, isn't that expensive or impressive. So the fact that we think it is pretty impressive in him. He looks like he does have a bow, and 2 hand axes. Now, to bring remembrance and completely kill all sort of narrative distraction, remember the importance of having a bow and what that signifies.
Being a hunter or a thug?
Well, we know he's a thug, but being a
Uh,
hunter.
just the fact, oh, he's a hunter? Okay. Wow, he's a better hunter than me. I feel, oh, like, it's definitely, like, one of those things of, like, she wants to say something. She doesn't know what to say to not make him angry.
Ruff's angry at Gale and hasn't forgiven Gale being completely rude to him yet, so Ruff doesn't really want to spark much conversation with him. Ruff's being petty.
Yeah, as we're just, like, sitting in silence. We're standing in
Standing in
silence.
silence. You know, it's my birthday tomorrow.
Did I know this? What day is it?
Monocrete Friday.
Did I know this? Did I forget? Mono do dry day? Do dry day?
Equivalent of January 4th is his birthday.
Type out the word, how to spell it, because I want that one.
January 4th?
Yeah, mono do dry day. Mono dry day, Friday. Mon dry duty. Do day with Friday. B-day to Dido.
D-Day. It's Kata Day, sorry. Just wanted to make sure. One. That would be technically how it's written. Or it would be written like that.
Oh no. With everything that's happening.
It's all right. I don't usually celebrate and nothing. I just thinking it was coming up recently.
Hold on. I need to see if I have. I need to see if I have inventory. I don't have anything good. I've been so preoccupied. I totally. I even forgot. I haven't been able to remember anything other than what's happening right now recently. I've been just so preoccupied with this festival.
Nothing wrong with that. It's just this moment made me think of it. Just thought of it. Didn't realize it was tomorrow and all. Funny how that is, no? Funny how that is, no?
Your birthday's really close to Dr. Stokes's. I mean, you two seem to have gotten along last night.
It's again not really another person I get a whole lot of interaction with, but he's a good cat.
Very grand.
The awkward silence persists until Sarah does come back from the bathroom.
Uh, uh, did I say hi to Gail? Did I even say hi to Gail?
No. Ruff said something, he muttered and said something, and then that was it. Then we started talking about Ruff's birthday.
She was gonna say hi to Sarah, but now she feels like she can't.
Hey, brothers.
Hi. Also, hi, Gail. Very quietly. Hopefully, so he can hear, but.
Yeah, Gail heard that.
Oh, God. Don't kill me. She doesn't say that, but. Is he
Sending a
angry
bunch
at
of
me?
straw men.
Does he look angry with me?
He always looks angry at everything.
Oh
He's
no.
a He's an evil bandit, man.
This is gonna
Sending
be a
straw men
long,
away.
couple days.
When you got dressed up, I'm surprised I didn't see you wearing your ceremonial ringlet. The one around your head.
Did she make a fashion error? What do you mean ceremony ringlet?
Probably referring to your mother's headpiece.
Oh, I'm not wearing that. I mean, no, yeah, it makes sense that I'm not wearing that. Uh, I figured I should save that until after the ceremony's done.
But don't you need it for... Never mind.
Uh,
I think we're
I
gonna have a fun trip, a bunch of us, yeah? I think it will be a trip.
Gail looks angry. I hope we can all have a fun time. Gail looks angry.
Well, is angry. All right, children, come here. Come over to the fire.
We're
Everyone,
still technically
quiet down.
children.
Quiet down. We're about to see this man in his true environment. Working.
This is so rare. It's like it's like Bigfoot.
It's rarer than Bigfoot. Bigfoot tries to find him working.
Yeah.
The crowd seemingly have exploded within a very short amount of time, and the awkward silence of Gale. Xenia can start to make pictures and view people she does know. Stokes is
I
definitely awake and putting on a good show as if he isn't completely drunk.
like at this point Xenia finally starts to get like that like non-nervous excitement, I'd say. It's kind of like that growing anticipation of like excitement and fun of like losing her like especially if he speaks and does like the ritual starting. It's definitely her demeanor probably like she straightens her back a bit and kind of has that anticipation and readiness, and like just seeing the path of up the mountain is probably like actually getting more excited, and like there's that like actual change within her demeanor as things progress. if there's a time where she can wave at her family as she's like, walking away, that's not breaking ceremony tradition, she will absolutely do so.
Today, we stand beneath the Roxen Hollow. Among rolling hills sits our quaint mountain. Roxen Hollow. Oh dear, as it watches over, protecting us from snow and hail, rain and thunder. In the embracing arms of the sky, the protective canopy of stone and earth. Gather now, for this is the right of the Roxen Willow. For all you who gather, children, you are requested to leave. As he refers to the crowd. No minor shall be present. There are a couple kids that run off naively. This chore that they always have to attend, at least for the small pit, has almost been released from them and they can go play. Little do they know that they wish that they could stay in order to hear what's next to be stated.
I am so excited. Like, oh my god, this feels like I'm becoming an adult.
Much as a play, we show our allegiance to our age. When, as a child, you are crafted, your potential grows. An adult is where we transfer that potential into your experience. First, you must awaken. Look now to the hollow and watch as the sun cradles underneath. As our eyes are directed towards Roxen Hollow, the mountain, we have a perfect sight line of the mountain arcing over the beautiful sun, always visible. There was some days this ceremony of the stone willow in which the sun didn't shine, and that it always led to tragedy. So it was a common thought the sun would be a marker for good times to come. Underneath the sun, sitting in a positioned chair, would be someone whose visage is rarely seen.
Caldoon?
King Khaldun. No, not King Khaldun, although that would be funny. No, it is the mayor.
He usually isn't here for these things, is he?
Not here for a whole lot of things.
Oh wow. I feel like what's happening? Is this destiny? Is it because I'm a seer? Oh my goodness, this feels like special.
Air itself seems to hum with anticipation and murmur as if The stars are almost aligned for this, as alongside the mayor, many elders are dressed in beautiful crimson robes that must have been hundreds, if not thousands, of years old, depending on how long this town has existed, maybe further. The scene is almost as if the sun is watching their backs and they are watching their forward, and overall, everyone is in sight of you.
Sorry, you know
As
that picture of my character I drew, the one with the open mouth?
that,
I feel like it's that. Hopefully not like, yeah, with that 5 performance, yeah, probably.
walking around the front, a Kester comes into view, which catches the attention. In his hand, he pulls out a small, what looks like beaded strand. And he looks towards the first person in line, which is Gale.
Close my
Raise your
mouth,
right
close my
hand.
mouth.
This shall be your guiding ward. Lose it, and your mission is over. Wear it, both with pride and with understanding. Let your strength carry you far. As he whispers something to Gale, he then moves on to Xenia.
Straightest back ever, straightest back ever. Close my
Raise
mouth,
your
make
left,
sure my mouth is closed.
raise your left arm.
She does so.
It's another
At
bang.
first it's rigid, but then she probably actually relaxes.
This is your guide. Do not let it see harm, nor lest it be damaged, wetted, or burned. Keep it safe, as it is your mark of passage, and without it,
Right.
you will be lost.
Actually, she doesn't know if it's appropriate to speak in this situation, so she probably like nods her head of like, yeah.
As he moves into whisper, then moves to Sarah.
What did he whisper though?
Go get it. Go get it, kid.
You fucking
Sarah,
suck, Gale. Sorry.
this is your purity. The power to find resolve in darkness. To build upon one's spirit and soul until it bursts not only potency, but perspective. Do not let it see the darkness, as in darkness it will wither and break. If it breaks, you will cease your mission. He whispers something to Sarah. Ruff, bring out your right arm. He does so, making sure to stand as attentive as he can. Not necessarily shaking out of excitement of fear, but shaking to get going. This is your fire. As it burns, so does your spirit. But your body burns faster. Take care of your spirit and your mind, and your body shall last long. Fail, and it shall be consumed not only, but exclusively for you. Have this be destroyed, and you will have failed. He comes in to whisper. Take your time. As he steps back. This was Act 1. To be awoken. Now we move to Act 2. The journey. Your goal is to travel to the top of Roxon Hollow. At the very peaks, you will find a sign. At the sign, you are to unload your burden. Once you unload your burden, you will be permitted to a trial. The Wisdom of Willows. After completing the trial, it is important that you present your binding. Then, make your way down. When you reach the village, take anything you have gained and place it at the pegging post. If you have not retrieved and returned in a week, you will have failed. And if you have not returned in that time, understand there will be no do-overs this time.
No do-overs this time? Golly, sorry, that sunk in the mood a bit.
So he reaches over. In his hand, he lights 4 torches. Handing one out to each of us with the hand that he gave our bindings on. Xenia left hand, Sarah left hand, Gale and Ruff right hand.
Was mine the same as Gale's? Oh no, I don't know what he said about my trial right now. What did he say about me?
Do not think you can tarry with just simply 1 torch. You will need to light all torches, even should the brazier be lit. Carry the torch to the end. It has been enchanted, and it will last. However, don't put complete confidence in the torch alone. If it goes out, you will have failed. May your journey be timeless, and your heart find solace in the willow's shade. With that, there is a cheer, and then a silence as we pass through the gate, and which marks the start of our journey.
Pathfinding! Woo!
Little did you know, I am the perception. I'm really good at perception. Hey, it feels like we finally got off on chapter. Like we're finally on our journey.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Uh, Zenya's keeping her back straight. The part of it is like just completely focused, and like once they're no longer like within like once the signs of the festival has faded upon them walking away, like all sound and sight of them have like disappeared, is probably when Zenya's gonna speak unless somebody does so sooner. Where I imagine just like walking up in silence in this like noble kind of like spiritual moment.
Um, what do you think the trial is?
I don't know. I assume that someone's up there waiting for us. Oh, is everyone gone? Is all signs gone? Do we still see things?
No, all signs are gone.
But that was kind of really cool. Oh my goodness. Ah, like actually like just like gushing over that. Like that was amazing. Probably swaying back and forth a bit of like still pathfinding, but like looking at her bracelet.
I felt
What
it
does it
was
mean
pretty
like not to?
ominous in the regards of
Hmm?
if we fail, it's the only shot we got. That's putting a lot of pressure immediately on people.
I feel like that's not how it usually is it? But I'm sure it'll be fine.
Something tells me that they didn't want to make it seem like you could take it multiple times, so you put it seriously. But maybe they're changing things around. Stop so many people from going on adventures of their own and all.
Uh, do we have to be like really careful about your bracelet not being in the dark? Is that like a magic thing?
I think it's more of a metaphor. Signs of whatever I do, I should do it from full of spirit and not half-assed things. Perhaps it's something more sentimentally important. I mean, welcome. Here's your bracelet. Don't break it. Probably just some sort of traditional statement.
Oh my goodness, we're actually on the road right now! Oh my goodness. Oh, this is amazing. I really don't understand most of the metaphor stuff.
Hey, I'm sure there's a logic puzzle behind it that I could piece together. I think it was just him saying stuff while trying to put off a drunken stupor.
uh, no, I wouldn't say that. I mean, the ritual and the festival is important. Swaying back and forth a bit, excited.
Well, there's one thing for certain: don't put the fire close to the band. As I think what Ruff will do is, I think Ruff will just see if there's like a piece of cloth in his inventory, and if there is, he'll just wrap it around the band.
The band? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just so it doesn't get like attacked by wind scissor or something. A druid hiding in the bush, just casting wind scissor on our bracelets.
Xenia probably is like occasionally just glances down and looks at her bracelet. Is it pretty?
It like a small strand of beads. not bad. It honestly, if Xenia's allowed to keep it, she'd keep it. She'd wear it every day.
It sucks that we have to give these up. They're so cool.
To think of colors just because I want to put colors on our token. I bet you can. I bet you'll figure out pretty quickly what color everyone's token is, or what color everyone's band is.
Gale's pink. Ah, envy. I'm green. Cool.
I'm bleeding out.
You're bleeding out. Don't you all want to
Well,
keep these? I turn and I include Gale because I'm too like distracted to be afraid of him, and then probably if I notice him being angry, I shut the fuck up again.
oh man, think about it. If these are given to the next ones who travel, these could be ancient reliquaries. We could be wearing a piece of history.
I want it even more now. Does it look ancient? I'm gonna definitely take a look at it next when we go to rest.
If you want a hand with that, I'll give one. I'm curious about the make, although it didn't really feel like a dusty old relic. Then again, we're carrying a sort of prolonged fire.
Can magic make things last forever?
Ah, if there was magic that could make things last forever, imagine how imagine how amazing that would be.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that would help, like, huh. But then, I guess it depends on the thing, because I like fixing clothing, but some clothing I want to last forever.
Things should last forever.
Hmm?
Nothing should last forever. Systems, ideals, equipment, clothing. All of it needs to perish eventually.
That sounds scary. I shouldn't have
If
said
you hold
that.
on to the old, how will new ever be made? You'll always be standing in a field of corpses. Those corpses are your creations.
I'm
I
pathfinding. I
see.
can't do an insight right now.
Somebody's already off to a good start this morning. I disagree. I think that things should last for a long time. They should be able to get your life's worth out of it. And then give it to another. There's so much sentimental value in objects nowadays. Just like that outfit you're wearing now. That must have been an age-old piece of equipment from your family.
Yenya's brain
And
is still kind of spinning because it's like, wait, but like, if I don't use something, then I can't get new things of that thing. But I want to hold on to things like this. It belonged to my mother. I don't know if it has any more history behind it than that.
it has your mother's history on it. Just as much as Mr. Magnus's hat. It likely has a story of its own, whether we know about it or not.
But, I mean, I agree, but, well, if I had all my clothing from my mother, I'd never need to make anything new. Gail's been influencing her. Oh my god, how does he have a point? She's so confused right now. Like, I wanted to last, but like.
Simply then you get more things. You make an outfit that's yours and your mother's. Now you have two outfits. The fact that you don't see the inevitability of drowning in outfits.
Yeah,
Just
Xenia's.
business.
Xenia remembers her house drowning in outfits. Not actual outfits, but you know.
It's okay to be involved with something. The things die when they die. Everything has an expiry and should. No one or nothing lives forever.
Oh, Xenia. Like, that's just a sad sentiment for somebody walking up a hill. That's just sad for somebody walking up a hill right now. Oh my god, Xenia's energy's sadder.
You already know how to charge the environment for walking past a graveyard. You know we'll be walking past a graveyard in this adventure. At least try and think of something happy, like about memories or writings. I like the idea of having information sprawling in books upon books to catalog everything and finding a way to catalog it better from the start to the very end. I think that would be a brilliant use of time. Yale doesn't seem to want to talk anymore. He said his sentences already. He said his thought process. He's not arguing with people.
Honestly, Xenia's like thinking about like, okay, but like, is he right? Do all things end? Isn't that sad? If I like, what about the stars? Do the stars end? Does that matter? Like, existential crisis of growing up at this point.
You've already become an adult. Gail traumatized you into becoming an adult. Gail was the teacher the entire time.
Because like, oh golly, like, oh my, oh my.
This is a path that has never been traveled by Xenia, Ruff, Gale, or Sarah, but it comes intuitively. It's clearly a path that's traveled by people, so it's not particularly hard to follow, but you wouldn't call it overtly obvious either. There are no man made structures, meaning if you wanted to get to the graveyard, well, as long as your legs worked, you'd be able to do it, but it's far enough away that as you rise and see the shillings of some of the roofs, more specifically the church, well, it's not exactly the safest route. Not to mention, the trees do actually cut off fairly early on to the trek. Very quickly, it becomes rocky, large steps required. Something that Xenia wasn't expecting. A lot of their nights are not going to be covered by trees. And in a way, this might have been intentional. Well, you couldn't necessarily see this point from the village, perhaps from the top of the church. Maybe if we set our gaze out there and were keen enough under a moonlight, we might be able to see somebody watching us as we travel up. Or perhaps no one's watching us at all.
Well, they'll be able to track us with the brazers as well. Where if a brazier doesn't light, they'll know where we disappear to. But that doesn't make sense if we don't travel together. Because if we don't travel together, if somebody doesn't make it past the third brazier, but everyone else does, they won't know where the person disappears to. So that only works for the person in the lead. But at least they know that they won't go too far looking for somebody, with us lighting all the braziers for like a search and rescue thing. And they know.
I don't think the brazers are to keep track of where you are. I think
I
the
don't think
brazers are
so.
just to make sure they're all lit. I think the brazers are just meant to all be lit. I personally don't think they're watching us.
Yeah.
The first brazier is actually very easy. Immediately upon getting into the stones, plateauing upwards, where the hike becomes more vertical for a short period. The brazier is simply sitting at the bottom in a small wooden and metal dome. Must have been carted up here who knows how many years ago. A pile of wood, lightly and gingerly put in the bottom of it.
Yeah, and he probably runs over, like, just to, like, look at it and, like, observe it. Let's all light it together, okay?
No
She definitely
problem,
takes her time
Ethan.
observing and looking at it. Oh my goodness. Can I do appraisal? Oh my goodness.
I want to do appraisal too,
I'll help you.
so I will. One of us do appraisal. I also wanted to throw in investigation. If you do appraisal, I'll do investa.
Okay, my appraisal's only a +1. I think we should just take our time here. I think, or like do appraisal one time and do investigation next time.
All right, let's take it lightly.
I'll help action. I'll help action you in order to do that.
I didn't
That's a
roll that
+5, not
correctly.
-5, right?
Yes, but I very much did not roll that correctly. That's a 16.
Yep, yep. What do you see about it? How old is it?
This thing is older than the town, I'd say.
Whoa.
90, no, probably right 100 years.
100 years? That's not a long time in my mind, but Xenia is probably like a super long time.
Well,
The only
remember,
person,
our town is only a handful of generations old.
which is pretty much since the founding of the town,
This is since the founding of the town.
that would be most likely from the founding of the town. I guess the. Well, actually, I don't know how long the mayor has lived for, but there's a chance he would have been there for when they were constructed. Do you think that the one at the top is older than the rest?
It's hard to say. One thing for certain is it's solid iron. It must weigh a ton to get up here. Not to mention, well, the make of it's pretty weathered. It's got a lot of rust burning through it. Scary to imagine how they're going to fix it.
Remembers Gale's thing about all things dying.
I'm sure they have a way. They've done it once before. Besides, It can't have been that hard if you had 4 or 5 strong men.
How long does it take for things to rust?
Well, it all really depends. We got a humid climate here. If it's, well, iron, you have the problem of it could rust really quickly, but to get this much, years, probably a handful. In
I
truth,
can
it's amazing it managed to stay as much as it did.
I think her eye definitely flickered over to Gale at some point throughout this conversation. Not in a fearful way, surprisingly.
Well, however long it takes to rust, still impressive that it's managed to last as long as it did.
You mentioned that it was fixed once before? How do you know that?
Saying that to?
Hmm?
Who are you saying that to?
Sarah said it was fixed once before.
Well, it
Hmm?
must have been fixed. I didn't really know when or how, but Ruff is right. Things rust fast when made of iron, and if this is solid iron like it is, I would imagine it would have been completely rusted through by 90 years. Somebody must be watching it.
Unless there's some sort of magic going on. But we probably shouldn't linger too long here. There's a lot more braziers. If we want to look at them more, we should probably do it there. We can rest at them too. That would probably make a good resting spot. I assume there's still a lot of time in the day.
Yeah, we're making not a. Yeah, we got a good time.
I'll make sure to keep track of how far apart they generally are, so we can time it, so we can rest at one.
It'd be too cruel to add anything further than random spacing.
All right, let's all like this together. I'm gonna stand in a position like try to make it thematic where like each of us take a side and like light it up if that's how it works. Can you all take a side?
Yep, it's a circle.
Awesome. Does everyone get into positions?
They do.
All right, three, two, one, and light it.
It takes a couple seconds before it sparks up. The brazier burns a beautiful golden. For a moment, sparks aqua blue, and then turns to a regular fire shade.
Whoa.
There's a general sense of impressed there. Gale doesn't seem to be looking at the fire, but instead up at the sky when the fire is lit.
My eyes probably trail his once I notice that. Like goes to Gale and then go up.
It's like there's a small bit of silver crackling that's just stopped, almost as if it lit some sort of energy up into the air.
Uh, did you see something? What was that? Is it still happening?
No,
Hmm?
it was like the tail end of it. Probably just the wind.
Hey, what? Next time we gotta look up when we light it. All right, let's go. She wants to see it so badly. Oh god, yeah, no, like after Gale was talking all of a sudden, like after he was like, all things die, things are horrible.
He
Dude
never
must
said
be
things were
sad.
horrible.
Like, yeah, he's gonna be a criminal and stuff, but like, I don't know.
He
There's a bit
never
of
said all
empathy
things were
there.
horrible.
Hmm.
He never said all things were horrible.
Yeah, but it's like all things will die, and that's like really sad of a thought. So he must be like really sad.
No, I don't doubt that. He's sad and angry. Those are his two emotions.
Yeah, but she thought it was angry. So now that she knows he's probably like extremely sad. It's like a bit more empathy and like less fear, and it's like, oh, that's sad. Maybe he's lonely. Still kind of like iffy, like just not like immediately terrified of his presence alone. At least less immediately terrified of his presence alone. She still is uneasy probably, but like it's not to the point where I think it's showing or like necessarily on her forefront of her mind anymore.
It's a bonding moment.
It was a bonding moment. It was her growing up. Oh my goodness.
This is a good sign for what the next couple days are going to be looking like. Almost a vertical climbing on rocks for
Is
walking and stepping is
is everyone
drastically made harder.
doing okay? Like, can I help them? Because I can like, can I help them since I'm able to like climb easier, and I have a climb speed?
Ruff and Zanya do have the best chance because we both have a climb speed. Gale is doing very well. Sarah is kind of falling behind and slowing down the pace.
So I absolutely want to help Sarah.
There is only a certain degree of assisting Sarah you can do because you can't carry her or you can't really like hold out for her without jeopardizing yourself. If you want to give her help on athletics, which she is required to make, you will be also making in athletics.
I don't have proficiency in athletics.
Yeah, you could grant her help, but you would be rolling in athletics.
Oh, she's better on her. God. I give her as much support as I can without using the help action. Oh, I fucked up! I fucked up! I have the detect affinity thing from Druid. I could have used that on the furnace. Or the lantern, or goddamn. Brazier. Wait, what affinity is a torch?
Sorry?
What affinity is a torch?
Want to use that?
I can use that indefinitely, right?
It technically counts as an action.
I will absolutely at some point use an action on my torch to see if it has like a weird affinity.
Torch.
Oh.
It is a affinity torch. Torch supernatural. It is a supernatural torch.
It is supernatural. Oh, wait, what does that mean? Oh, that's so cool. Is it because of the magic? Oh my goodness. It's not even magical, it's supernatural? What does that mean?
I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure what supernatural is defined as.
Ruff, I figured out something different with the torch. The torch. It's supernatural. Like that says absolutely nothing, but she thinks it says so much.
Well, it has been burning for a bit, so it's probably enchanted, no?
No, no, it's not magical. It's supernatural.
Supernatural torch.
I know. I'm like so like I don't. I have no clue what that means, but I'm so excited to learn something new. Isn't that cool? Oh, I should have done it to the brazier. I can see what sort of affinity the brazier has.
Very much debating doing an arcana on this thing.
Pathfinding is doing great. Oh my goodness, just a small little
Well,
thing of mentioning
I'm
that.
perceptioning. I can't. Right.
Yeah, yeah. The only reason I could do that is because it was an action.
Well, I guess we got a supernatural torch then. Gale looks angry. As the day moves to its end, we do not encounter the next brazier
Really?
and are required to either choose to continue walking into the night, set up camp.
Hmm.
From this point on the mountain, we're starting to get up to the point where we're actually facing away from the village, so we can't see it. We can see trees and landscapes and some flat areas
Um.
off in the eastern direction. We can kind of sort of see a little bit of the peninsula. We can somewhat see it dip down, so perhaps you can walk up the peninsula from either side.
We could push forward to try and find the next brazier, but that could be dangerous and we could miss it in the dark.
I think we stick around and set up camp for the night. One of the one of the suggestions I was given was to take things easy, so we might as well have a bit of our time expended for it. Besides, I'm feeling a little peckish and want to cook a meal up. Ain't much time
Yeah,
to do that if we're waking up late.
yeah. I just wanted to spend the night next to the brazier to observe it more.
We just have to make good time with your pathfinding skills, and if we can make a really good time and be back within the amount that we need to be, we'll just camp out at the first one, eh?
Hmm.
I'd love to be able to look at those more. But in truth, we're on a 1 week time. Who knows how long we're gonna spend climbing up this thing? Hey, my feet are also real hurting. That's a good enough excuse.
Sorry I can't be more help with climbing.
Gale doesn't say anything and he just starts setting up his blankets.
Mm.
They look like
Alrighty.
just pelts and blankets. Ruff is going to pull out the Bunsen burner. It's cooking time.
I like my bracelet. My bracelet is great. I got a new bracelet.
Don't break lit.
I guess I get to do a survival to just make sure that the area is safe and yada yada. I'm not being a guide here. I'm doing survival. Setting up camp is the first priority, but you know, oh gods.
What's more of a priority than setting up camp?
not dying and not having an accident like my father did.
Seeing the stars come out.
I absolutely stop everything I'm doing to look up and be amazed. Holy shit. Wait. Is it like a clear view?
Well, now that we're not underneath the mountain, instead climbing up the side of it, we have a full view of the sky
I'm
as it
no longer doing a
staples into
survival.
twilight.
I am not doing a survival check.
No, this happened during your survival check, so
My survival check stops when I see that. That is my nat 1. That is...
technically speaking, made the camp a little bit worse, but the sight line of seeing the sky.
We're higher up, right? So does being higher up make them look better?
Well, normally if you see them, it's only through coming home late at night, looking up to the sky. Your home itself is not in direct skyline. So anytime you do see the stars, it's always through trees or in a small clearing, silhouetted by this halation effect. But here, it's almost like you're finally seeing the sky in its fullest. If you look to the left, there's no trees. If you look to the right, there's no trees. There's only more sky. And sure, there are clouds creeping their way into view. But Zanya can feel herself melt down into the sleeping bag on top of it, at least, being fixated at the sky.
Definitely. I feel like when she's really happy, she just like sits there swaying back and forth with a smile on her face.
Ruff does take notice of that while spinning skewers on the Bunsen burner grill. There's a moment he notices that Gale does pay attention to Ziana tranced. Same with Sarah.
Do I break out of the trance?
It's
Eventually.
only when food starts to get served and you're called do you kind of break out.
As I collect my food, I'm definitely gonna. So if I'm rushing things, I don't know if you're doing anything other than cooking, but she's definitely gonna be like saying, "Did you all see the stars? Isn't that amazing?
Can't say I've ever seen a picturesque sky like that before.
It's so pretty. Um, that star right there, that was my mother's star. I assume I can see it. If not, like, don't say that."
What do you mean, your mother's star?
um, it's her star. Er, um, all of the starry have a star. I know that other races don't, but even I have a star. I don't really
As
know how to explain it. I just see it and I know it's mine.
so in that case, that's your mother's. Which one's yours?
That one. I assume I can see it. What does the stars look like? Do stars look different to me?
Not really sure how stars look to other people.
But like, how would I describe like my star? Would it be like slightly blue tinge? How would I describe my, like? I'd probably describe both of our stars of like, oh yeah, it's that one, the one that's blah 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 blah.
When gazing at the stars, you have a much better sight line on how to pick up the subtleties of, let's say, their red shifts or their blue shifts for certain. But also, there's a certain pattern which is translated. Your mother was much better at seeing it than you were. But each one almost has an ID, your code associated with it. Kind of like what it's made up of, like friendship, feelings, bread, wheat, all these different descriptors put into it. Xenia's, for example, while it's not perfect, she would say that it has a little bit of the sun, but also a little bit of fur, contempt, but also brash, a little bit of salt, perhaps some sugar as well.
She sounds crazy talking about it like this.
Her mother described it as each star is made up of different things. And the different things that they're made up of are kind of like the meals they eat. Except for stars don't eat simply food in conventional way that we do. Stars eat food very pickily. They can eat your dreams. Could eat whatever they really want. It doesn't fully reflect Xania, so to say. But people look for overlaps to them to their stars. Back in your mother's land, there was something that the closer to the star you were, Xenia can't quite remember.
She definitely, yeah, probably talks about all of that during dinner and is just like super enjoying it and like is happy and like too distracted to talk about Gale and too much in a good space.
Where's my star then?
Okay, I guess, okay, well, astronomy check. I didn't actually think I'd have to roll astronomy today, but apparently I'm rolling an astronomy check.
It don't sound so bad.
Uh, uh,
Well, Gale doesn't have a star because he's not on a star.
okay, okay. Uh, um, you're not on a star, so, you don't have a star.
Goes to bed.
I'm sorry.
How I'm going to interpret that is, I want to join in too. Okay, fine. I'm not allowed in your club. Fine. I'm going to bed. Bye.
Is there a way for someone to get a star? Does my 15 the starry knowledge tell me if there's a way to get one?
Well, I mean, you can't just give out stars. There's probably different cultures that see the stars and have different opinions, but that's not Xenia's culture. So,
uh,
I
uh,
mean, the Alterhuns don't put like too much, at least from what she knows, they don't put too much importance on stars.
I assume like when you say goes to bed, he just like flops down onto his like bedroll or something.
He technically just turns the complete other direction and puts the blanket up and just like
Uh, uh,
completely missed
if you want a star,
birds.
you'd probably have to visit my homeland or my mother's homeland. Uh, they might be able to give you something. I don't know enough.
You're sending this bandit to your mother's homeland
Uh,
to take a star from them?
oh my god, you're right. That's horrible. I'll
There's
probably be
already
there.
a certain complication of whether or not Xenia deserves a star because like she's half blood and yeah, I don't know, does that like make you weaker in star powers? But like what if
There.
Gale wants to steal all of them?
I'm gonna be going there myself one day. So I can ask for you. It's not like you have to go there.
I'm sure he's fine. That was very inspirational, learning about your history and all.
So, I feel like I might have rambled for a bit.
Nonsense. You are just passionate. Now go get some rest. I think I'm going to see the stars a little more, but we're going to need a powerful guide in order to get us there on time.
Um, mm, you're right. Um, God, it's so weird. Like, powerful guy. Yeah, but I don't want to be. Like, I don't have to just be a guy. Are we having a watch?
Ray, what do you mean?
I mean, is that common knowledge practice?
From how she responded to that, I don't think so.
I mean, that sounds like a survival thing. Does then I see what like should I roll survive?
Why would you ever need to take watch? Like,
So is that out of character, or does Xenia know? Like is that survive? Ah, golly.
no.
Hmm.
Let us find out.
Like passive knowledge, like not passive knowledge.
It can be inferred, but no, it's not common for anyone to even consider that.
I guess
Watch
I'm.
would imply that there's bad things that could happen, and yeah, there's bad things that could happen, but I mean, why would anyone not want to sleep for 8 hours straight? You're just like the town's right there. There's no need to feel like overly paranoid about anything.
Sorry, it's just. I guess I did put too much thought into it. I figured that if there was some sort of accident or some sort of emergency, if one of us stayed up, then they could wake up the others, so they wouldn't be in danger. Like a sudden rock slide or um, a wild animal coming too close to camp, or something like along those lines. It's probably not needed. It's probably good to. We should probably all just get a good night's sleep.
Isn't that a weird concept?
Yeah, no. I'm chalking it down to completely like Xenia's overpreparedness of why she thought of it.
I didn't even think of it being like in question. I was just like, oh yeah, we're totally gonna do that. I was like, wait a second. No, there's no reason that any of us would ever actually like think of that because we're just a bunch of random people from a village. We'd never need to take watch. We'd never need to do this. We never need to do that.
Yeah.
That's just a ain't that a weird. I'm sure we'll be fine. Besides, no one really wants to wake up after 2 hours of sleeping and go to bed for another.
That's
Whoever gets
true.
the first watch or the last watch is either waking up early or going to bed late. If a rock slide
That's
happens, I don't know if we'll be able to do anything about it anyways.
Xenia accepts this. Uh, golly. Um, I don't know. Like, I feel like Ruff is gonna wake up early. Xenia might stay up late, kind of doing a perception check, mainly for the stars. Not actually to keep watch, although, technically, perceptioning while you're awake. At least for a little bit, probably, just as a character thing of wanting to look at the stars. Like lying down. Is there a tent? Do I have to sleep in the tent? I don't want to sleep in the tent.
No, we don't have one. That was
Okay.
stupid. That was stupid money. Yeah, that was a stupid amount of money to get that.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, we didn't get that. Funny how much colder it gets. Not by much. It's still enough to be noticeable.
Xenia's doing great.
Pushing himself back, staring up into the sky, absorbing all of those good feelings.
What?
Absorbing all of those good feelings.
Yeah.
Not only was it a good morning, it was a good night. Not only was it a good night, it would be a great, a perfect even sleep. Xenia feels that her eyes are starting to bag far past normal. Consciousness drifts off.
And then she sees a shadow. She either sees something while falling asleep, or she falls asleep looking at the stars, and it is peaceful dreams.
When Ruff finally manages to wake up, stretching his body outwards, he looks around for a moment.
Gale is dead.
The sun hardly managing to peek into the sky, but not bright enough as the mountain is in the way. Ruff looks down, notices that our torches are almost completely burnt out. And that is where we will finish for the day.
You monster, how dare you? What do you mean it's almost burnt out?
They're smoldering, and smoldering is well, if we just use a quick Google, smoldering.
How the fuck does. Oh my god, no. Huh? What? This is the worst time. You cliffhanger.
as by definition, smoldering is the process of burning slowly with smoke but no flame.
Gods, that's. Wake everyone up! This is an emergency! Oh, you don't get to do that right now, but damn. Oh no.
No, that is going to be the first thing that we beat into. Uh,
Survival
that
check,
was,
keep it up. And like, what the fuck? Is it because we fell asleep? What the fuck's going
no,
on?
it's because if we go back a couple episodes and remember the enchantment that was put on the torch.
Yeah.
Remember how I myself didn't realize until I saw the message. You remember how long it said the torches were enchanted for?
No.
A day.
Oh, wait, how the fuck are we supposed to get up a mountain with that?
I think that's part of the challenge.